Welcome to Late Night Letters, a space where emotions turn into words. In this video, some part are narrated using AI voice to beautifully express feelings. Let's begin.
I met her in October during one of those forgettable work conferences where everyone pretends to care about PowerPoint slides and networking. She was sitting alone at the hotel bar, stirring a drink she didn't seem interested in drinking. I almost walked past, but something made me stop. Maybe it was the way she looked at nothing in particular, like she was somewhere else entirely. I asked if the seat next to her was taken. She glanced up, and for a second I thought she might tell me to leave. Instead, she just shrugged, so I sat down. We didn't talk right away. I ordered a whiskey, she kept stirring her drink, and the silence between us felt strangely comfortable. When she finally spoke, it wasn't small talk. She asked me if I believed people could be lonely in a room full of others. I said yes. She nodded like that was the right answer. Her name was Elena. She worked in design, lived in a city 3 hours from mine, and was at the conference because her boss thought it would be good for her career. She didn't care about her career the way people usually pretend to. That honesty was refreshing. We talked for hours that night. Not about work or the usual surface things people discuss when they first meet. We talked about the weight of expectation, about feeling stuck in lives that look perfect on paper, about wanting something more without knowing what that more even was. She told me she'd been engaged once, called it off 6 months before the wedding. Everyone told her she was making a mistake, that she was throwing away something good, but she said she couldn't shake the feeling that she was about to lock herself into a life that wasn't really hers. I understood that more than I wanted to admit. I'd been in a relationship for 4 years that ended badly. We stayed together longer than we should have because breaking up felt harder than staying. When it finally ended, I felt relief more than sadness. That scared me. Elena and I exchanged numbers that night. I didn't expect her to actually text, but she did. 2 days later, she sent me a message at midnight, just a song recommendation with no explanation. I listened to it in the dark, lying in bed, and somehow it felt like she was there. We started talking every day after that, long messages that turned into longer phone calls. Sometimes we'd talk until 3 in the morning about everything and nothing. Other times we'd just stay on the line in silence, doing our own things, but not wanting to hang up. It felt dangerous. Not in an obvious way, but in the way that something starts to mean too much. I started looking forward to her name on my phone more than anything else in my day. Started thinking about her at random moments, while making coffee, during meetings, late at night when I couldn't sleep. 3 weeks after we met, she told me she was coming to my city for the weekend. She had a friend's birthday party to attend, but she wanted to see me. My heart did something stupid when I read that message. We met at a small coffee shop on Saturday afternoon, the kind of place with mismatched furniture and terrible lighting. She walked in wearing a long coat and a nervous smile. I stood up too quickly, almost knocked over my cup. She laughed. That laugh. I'd heard it over the phone 100 times, but hearing it in person was different. We spent the entire day together, walked through the city without any real destination, talked about the same things we always talked about, but somehow it all felt more real face to face. At one point, we ended up at a bookstore. She pulled random books off the shelves and read me the first lines, asking if I'd keep reading. Most I wouldn't, but there was one she found, some old novel with a worn cover, and when she read the opening, something in her voice changed. It was about 2 people who kept missing each other, meeting at the wrong times, almost connecting, but not quite. She closed the book and put it back on the shelf, said she hated stories like that, too close to real life. That evening, we ended up at my apartment. It wasn't planned. We'd been walking and it started raining, and my place was closer than her hotel. She stood in my living room, dripping wet, looking around like she was trying to memorize the space. I gave her a towel and one of my shirts to change into. When she came back, wearing my clothes, hair still damp, something shifted between us. She sat on the couch, pulled her knees up to her chest, asked if I ever felt like I was waiting for my life to start, like everything so far had just been practice. I sat down next to her, closer than I needed to. Told her I felt that way all the time. She turned to look at me then, really look at me, and I knew if I kissed her, she wouldn't pull away. But I didn't, not yet, because some part of me wanted to stretch out that moment, that perfect, terrifying moment before everything changes. We stayed like that for a while, close but not touching. The rain against the windows, the city lights filtering through. Then she said something I'll never forget. She said she'd been thinking about me constantly since the night we met, that she tried to talk herself out of it, tried to convince herself it was just loneliness or boredom or anything other than what it actually was. But she couldn't. She says she felt like she'd been looking for me without knowing it, and now that she found me, she didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say to that, so I just reached out and took her hand. Her fingers were cold. She squeezed back. We sat there holding hands like teenagers, and it felt more intimate than anything I'd experienced in years. She leaned her head on my shoulder. I could smell her shampoo, feel her breathing. I turned my head slightly, and she lifted hers, and then we were kissing. Soft at first, careful, like we were both afraid of breaking something. But then it deepened. Her hand moved to the back of my neck, mine to her waist. We pulled apart, both breathing harder. She looked at me with eyes that held too many questions. I kissed her again. This time we didn't stop. We moved from the couch to my bedroom, shedding layers as we went. Every touch felt significant. Her skin against mine, the way she said my name like it meant something. We didn't rush. We took our time learning each other, what made her gasp, where she was sensitive, the way her body responded to mine. It wasn't just physical. It was everything we'd been building up to through all those late-night conversations, all that connection finally finding its expression. Afterward, we lay tangled together in the dark, her head on my chest, my fingers tracing patterns on her shoulder. Neither of us spoke for a long time. Finally, she said she had to leave in the morning, back to her city, back to her life. I asked when I'd see her again. She didn't answer right away. Then she said she didn't know. That scared me more than I wanted to admit. We fell asleep like that. When I woke up, early morning light was coming through the curtains. She was awake, watching me. She smiled, but it was sad somehow. I asked if I wanted coffee. We made breakfast together in my tiny kitchen. It felt domestic in a way that made my chest ache. She kept glancing at her phone, checking the time. I wanted to ask her to stay, but I didn't. When she left, she kissed me at the door, long and deep, like she was trying to memorize it. Then she pulled away and walked to the elevator without looking back. I stood there watching until the doors closed. The next few days were strange. We texted, but something had changed. There was a heaviness to our conversations that wasn't there before, like we both knew we'd crossed a line but weren't sure what that meant. A week later, she called me late at night. Her voice sounded different, small. She said we needed to talk. My stomach dropped. She told me she'd been doing a lot of thinking about us, about what we were doing. She said she cared about me more than she'd cared about anyone in a long time, maybe ever. But her life was complicated. She was dealing with things she hadn't told me about, things she wasn't ready to explain. She said she needed space, not forever, just for a while. She needed to figure some things out. I asked if this was about distance, because I'd move. I'd find a way. She said it wasn't that simple. Said she was sorry, that I deserved better than someone who couldn't give me what I needed right now. I told her I'd wait. She cried then, said I shouldn't, that it wasn't fair to ask that of me. We stayed on the phone for another hour, not really talking, just breathing together. When we finally hung up, I felt hollowed out. The next morning, I woke up to a long message from her. She explained more, not everything, but enough. She'd been struggling with depression for years, had managed it mostly, but lately it had gotten worse. She was starting therapy again, trying medication. She said meeting me had been the brightest thing in a very dark time, but she also felt guilty, like she was dragging me into something I didn't sign up for. She needed to work on herself before she could be present for anyone else, even me, especially me. I read that message 20 times. Then I wrote back, told her I understood, that I'd be here when she was ready, that she didn't have to go through anything alone. She responded hours later with just 2 words, "Thank you." Weeks passed. We kept in touch, but sporadically. A message here and there, brief updates about our days, nothing deep, nothing like before. I threw myself into work, saw friends, tried dating,
but everything felt flat compared to what I'd had with her, even for that brief, intense moment. 2 months after that night at my apartment, my phone rang at 1 in the morning. It was Elena. I answered before the second ring. She didn't say hello, just started talking. She said she'd been thinking about that night constantly, about me, about us. She said therapy is helping. She's doing better, not perfect, but better, and she realized something.
She'd pushed me away because she was scared. Not of her depression or the work she needed to do, but of how much I meant to her, of how quickly I'd become important. She said she'd never felt that kind of connection before, that intensity, and it terrified her, because everyone she'd ever cared about had eventually left, or she'd pushed them away first to avoid the pain of them leaving. She thought she was protecting both of us, but all she'd done was make herself miserable, made us both miserable. She asked if it was too late, if she'd ruined everything. My heart was pounding so hard I could barely hear my own voice. I told her it wasn't too late, that I'd meant what I said about waiting. She started crying again, but this time it sounded different, lighter somehow. She said she wanted to try, really try, figure out the distance, the complications, all of it, because the alternative was pretending she didn't feel what she felt, and she couldn't do that anymore. I told her I wanted that too, more than anything. We talked until sunrise, made plans, real plans this time. I'd visit her next weekend. We'd see each other every 2 weeks after that. Maybe look at jobs in each other's cities, take it one step at a time, but actually move forward instead of standing still. When we hung up, I felt something I hadn't felt in months: hope. The next few months were hard in different ways. Long distance is never easy. There were nights when I missed her so much it physically hurt. Times when our schedules didn't align and we went days barely talking. Moments of doubt on both sides. But we kept showing up. She kept working on herself, and I supported her however I could. We video called constantly, sent each other stupid memes and random thoughts throughout the day, planned elaborate weekend visits where we barely left the bedroom, other times where we just existed together, doing mundane things that somehow felt special. She met my friends. I met hers. Slowly, we built something real. 6 months after that first night at the hotel bar, she told me she loved me. We were walking through her city at sunset. She just stopped, turned to me, and said it, like she couldn't hold it in anymore. I said it back, because I'd known for months, maybe since that first weekend. A year later, I moved to her city, found a new job, a new apartment. She moved in 3 months after that. It wasn't always easy. She still had hard days, days where the depression made everything feel impossible, where she withdrew into herself. But she let me in now, let me help. And on my hard days, she did the same for me. We learned each other's rhythms, our patterns and needs, how to give space and when to hold tight. 2 years after we met, we were lying in bed on a lazy Sunday morning. She was tracing circles on my chest. I was playing with her hair. She said something that made me go still. She said that night I almost walked past her at the hotel bar. She'd been planning to leave. Not just the bar, everything. She'd been at the lowest point she'd ever been, had even written notes. But then, I sat down next to her, asked that simple question about the seat, and something shifted. She didn't make any conscious decision to stay, but talking to me that night gave her just enough light to make it through. One more day, then another, until days became weeks, and weeks became months. She said she never told me because she didn't want me to feel responsible, didn't want that weight on what we had, but she needed me to know that I'd saved her without even trying, just by being there, by seeing her. I held her tighter than I'd ever held anyone, told her I was glad I sat down, that I almost didn't, that the universe must have known something we didn't. She kissed me then, soft and slow and full of meaning. She said she didn't believe in fate or destiny, but she believed in us, in the choice we kept making every day to stay, to build something together, to love each other through the hard parts. I told her I believed in that too. We lay there as the morning sun filled the room, her heartbeat steady against mine. And I thought about that night, how close I came to walking past her, how easily I could have missed her, this whole life we'd built. Sometimes I still go back to that hotel bar in my mind, see her sitting there alone, stirring that drink, looking at nothing, and I'm grateful for whatever impulse made me stop, for her being brave enough to let me in, for all the messy, complicated, beautiful things that came after. She shifted against me, mumbled something about coffee. I kissed her top of her head, told her I'd make it. She smiled without opening her eyes, said she loved me. I said it back, meant it more than any words I'd ever spoken. This wasn't the fairy tale version of love. There was no perfect moment where everything fell into place, no grand gesture that fixed everything. It was quieter than that, harder too, but realer, built on a foundation of showing up, of honesty and patience, of choosing each other when it would be easier not to. I got up to make coffee, looked back at her, still in bed, hair messy, face peaceful, mine, and I felt overwhelmingly lucky. Not because everything was perfect, but because it was real, because we'd found each other in the middle of our respective storms and somehow managed to build shelter together. That was enough, more than enough. That was everything.
If these words touched your heart, don't forget to like and subscribe. Share your feelings in the comments.